So let's get started. As I mentioned, we're going to cover some company performance, areas that Bravo is expanding in, and some particular areas of investment that we think will be of interest to you as it benefits you. We also want to talk about all the customer suggestions that we've been getting this year, the new processes by which literally every single one of those is being reviewed and responded to. And Christy will touch on that. Of course, roadmap updates. And like I said, my favorite trivia and prizes, which is always tons of fun. We encourage participation. So certainly jump in the Q&A and chat, and we'll get your questions answered. First off, I just want to say a big thank you to all the trade show hosts, all the industry associations. We just got off the heels of Pawn Expo, which was a fantastic show. They put on just a great event for us. We were also at the Range Retailer Show in Milwaukee that NSSF puts on. But you can see we attend all the regional trade shows. We love doing that. It's great to have FaceTime with other people in the industry, our customers, not our customers, and other people who are just supporting our industry. So thank you guys so much. Let's jump into some key performance metrics for Bravo. These are things that I'm going to have Tally run through these, but these are literally numbers that we track on a weekly basis in our leadership meetings. We report monthly out to our company. And so these are things that we're constantly tracking and really proud of when the metrics are what they are this year.
Okay, so the first most important one that you definitely care about is Bravo uptime. This is your ability to access Bravo when you need it. And so we are tracking for 100% uptime so far year to date. And this is a huge effort in the back end. Like, we have dozens of servers, we have e-com, mobile, and in-store point of sales. This really goes out to our tech team, headed up by Mike Wishart, who's a founder and our vice president of technology. And we've added more bandwidth and resources in this area as well to make sure, as we're onboarding, because we're growing and we're adding a lot of new customers, that we remain up and that Bravo remains at the speed that you're used to it working at. And so we always track the speed at which transactions are happening from you, from Hawaii all the way to London. And we're just really dedicated to this, and obviously really proud of this number. We know it matters to you, and it's the number one key metric that we focus on. The next most important key metric that we focus on is how we're doing as far as satisfying you. And customer satisfaction score is measured on a 0 to 100 scale. This is every time you answer a case with the survey that's on a number from 1 to 5. How would you rate our support? We really take all of this feedback really seriously. We actually have a live stream of all of the scores as they come in, so that if it's great, we can celebrate our people. And if it's not great, that we can dive into the case, coach on it, train on it, and reach out to you if you had a maybe less than stellar experience. So this is the second most important metric that we're tracking. Shout out goes to Ryan, who heads up this department, and all of our support team. We've recently promoted people. We created new levels. This is all just to make sure that you're being serviced, you're satisfied, you're happy. You're our heroes. So we just want to make sure that we're keeping you happy and keeping your questions, issues, suggestions. We're listening and resolving those.
All right. Those are awesome numbers, big wins, but we have some other big wins this year. The first I'll touch on, which is all the reviews that we've been getting on third-party review sites. So these are not customers putting these, or calling Bravo and giving us customer testimonials. These are our customers going out to sites like Trustpilot, SourceForge, Software Advice, and giving us star ratings, leaving reviews. And we've gotten this big influx of fantastic reviews on third-party sites. So not only do we appreciate our customers taking the time to do that, because it really is meaningful when other people are shopping for software, we're just so happy that this is the experience that our customers are having, and we love to see these. I think the other thing that's great, I just showed snippets on here, but what's great too is that it gives you the opportunity to leave the things you love, the pros, the cons, areas of improvement. And so we read those comments as well, things that our customers are saying that they still feel like, hey, I love the software, or I love Bravo as a partner, but here are areas that I think could be improved. So there's opportunity for you guys to give us direct feedback. So this is particularly exciting. As a head of marketing, these types of things are gold. So thank you for taking the time to do it. Christy, you want to talk about this one?
Yes, so lots and lots of customer suggestions, which was really our goal last year. I'm sure many of you know our founder, Steve Mack, challenged us to make sure that our customers felt heard. And one of the ways that we decided to go about that was to have user group meetings and sit down and talk. So far this year, we've hosted 2 user group meetings at the Texas and the Midwest Pawnbrokers Show. They were very well attended. Everybody was super involved. We did independent work, we did group work, and then my favorite part was the discussion at the end. What came of that is, you can see, like, you know, you can't read them all, but those are just some of the amazing suggestions that came out of it. But the real big, I think, recognition was that there is so much more that we can be doing with all of our apps, that our first move was to hire a dedicated team member to be looking at our mobile apps. So not going to steal anybody else's thunder. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and that role in expansion. But not only did we hire a mobile person who's dedicated to this product, but we also are hiring a tech. So we heard you loud and clear. We want to get ripping through these suggestions, but we wanted to do it in a really smart and meaningful way. So that is what is to come, in addition to 2 more user group meetings. So we want to continue to hear that feedback at the shows.
And also, if you're interested in a user group meeting, but you're not able to attend the last 2 shows of the year, Christy and I have been bouncing off the idea of having a virtual user group meeting. And that meeting will be, we'll send out the invite, but it will be a super small group. So these are only productive with 10 or maybe 15 people tops. So that'll be first come, first serve. We'll send out that in the upcoming months. It'll be in the 4th quarter, but keep your eye out. If you can't come to any of the next 2 user group meetings, keep your eye out for the virtual one. You're here, which means you're engaged and you want to hear about what we're doing. If you want to influence what we're doing, that would be somewhere where you could come and your suggestions will get right into roadmap for Mobile Pawn.
All right, it's time for our first trivia question. So this is some Bravo trivia. If you just joined, open up your chat bubble. We're basically going to have, the winner will be the first person who gets closest to the right answer. So I'm thinking, well, I can watch the chat. Okay. Our first trivia question, closest guess wins. How many total Mobile Pawn downloads have been made by consumers? So this is total, not just year to date, right, Tally? Yeah. Okay. So this is total Mobile Pawn downloads. So go ahead, open your chat. And all right, Suzanne is the first one in there with the 100,000 downloads.
Ooh, nice.
Brad with 300, Mid Valley 350. We've got some 200s, 250. Awesome. Keep them coming.
These are really good. We asked our team this too, in our company wides, and it's like the range sometimes is like, they would, you know, it's like 10. So you guys are very like, you know, in tune.
Yeah, I think your guys' guesses are better. Okay, are we ready to reveal?
Yeah.
The total number of Mobile Pawn downloads you can see down here is just over 376,000 total Mobile Pawn downloads by consumers. That is the amount of visibility of this app out in the marketplace, which is phenomenal. That's a lot of hard work from all of you guys who are using Mobile Pawn, promoting it. And you can see on the left here that we've also gotten great customer feedback. These are all of or a handful of the pictures that have come in from Mobile Pawn, and just shy of 900 total Mobile Pawn customers. Tally, anything you want to add there?
Mid-Valley's the winner of that.
Yes.
So nice work. In metrics that we're tracking, obviously, active users and downloads is really important. This is one of the things that our mobile pond product manager is pushing and driving. And so this number, as obviously the more attention you give to something, the more something usually grows. So we should see this number continue to increase. But if you've got pictures like this, like these bring me the most joy in my day-to-day. So if you have pictures like this, send them to me, email or post them. I just love seeing like Bravo work in your store. And this is an awesome example of that. So thanks to these few people that have sent us what the mornings look like with mobile pond.
Yeah, NPA was fun. That was like my favorite thing when people would come up and show their mobile pond slips. Like so many people did that. It was so much fun to see. I can't remember. I do know the name of the store. I could not believe the number of pond payments they had, but he wouldn't send it to me.
All right, good guesses. So Mid-Valley Pond, whatever email you use to register for this webinar, that's where I'll be sending your gift card. So keep an eye out for that after the webinar. All right, something else that I'll touch on, Tally, Christy, you guys jump in, which was a new initiative and honestly a big one, an area we decided to invest in was sending in-store mobile pond kits. So our art director, Lizzie, who's awesome, designed all of these pieces. Our marketing manager coordinated to get them all shipped out. And we got a lot of pictures of these as well, which were fantastic vinyl stickers. And you can see the variety of things that were on their counter displays and posters. But we really felt this was a great way to add value to our customers who are paying for mobile pond and for us to really take some of that burden off of all of you to market it. So we wanted to invest in not just mobile pond, but really invest in you and help you with that marketing. So this was a big effort actually by my marketing team members. So I can't take all the credit. They were really the ones who did the work. And we've gotten great feedback about this too. Tally or Christy, anything you want to add there?
Not me.
Okay. All right. Another trivia question. So go ahead, get out your chats. Okay, so this is a year-to-date question. Closest guest wins. How many approvals have been made through the Shopkeeper app year-to-date? And this is all approvals, right, Christy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 400, 175K, 50,000, 20K, a million, 25K.
That's goals, Josh. That's where we're heading, we hope.
45.9. Look at Vito with his very precise guesses. I like it. All right. Any other guesses coming in? All right.
328,000. So that, I think Vito was the closest with his super
No,
precise.
He had 45,000 was his guess.
I think it was
Mid-Valley. Mid-Valley at 400.
Yeah.
It was Mid-Valley. You guys are just going to have so much free coffee for yourself and your team all week on Bravo. But yeah, 329,000 answer manager approvals made through the app year to date. You
I
guys
did also just want to mention, Shopkeeper is our most widely adopted product, tool, feature, anything, both by the number of people that have it and the number of people that utilize it. Additionally, we originally started our user groups really focusing on mobile pond, and then a lot of suggestions were Shopkeeper. So if you have Shopkeeper suggestions and you can come to those user group meetings, bring those too. This app is hugely valuable. And when we talk about where we're making investments in the future, this is one of the areas. And so we love that you love it. And I have never pulled this number. I had to query this today. So that's a lot of approvals. But I'm not surprised by that because most everybody that uses it also for approvals. So.
Oh, another trivia question. All right. All right. So keep your chat open. I'm just going to put something in the chat so that we don't get our answers mixed up. There we go. Okay. How many E4473 forms have been started year to date?
So for those of you that don't know, E4473 is a form that you have to fill out to purchase a firearm. So for those firearm states, we've got a ton of customers. This is like one of the fastest adopted products that we've ever launched. We just came out with a functionality where you can now pay at pickup and not just pay at the front end of doing the background check. So I'm tap dancing while you all answer. How many E4473s have been started?
We've got ranging from 5,000 to 65K, 250K, 25, 150K, 275K. All right, let's check it out.
I think Megan won that one.
So yeah, Megan did win that. Nice, Megan. So far this year, 123,000 roughly. There were a few over that, maybe like 90 over that, started so far this year. Just a comment I'll make, we actually shared this number last year in one of our company updates. And for the total, I think we're at like 80% already for the year. Right?
Last
Yeah, last year total, we started 124,000 forms in all of 2022.
There we go.
And we're already at 123 now.
Yeah, this is awesome. By the way, this is side note, but for those of you who aren't using E4473 and you're considering it, or you're not sure if it's the right fit, I had an awesome call with one of our customers, Lowell out of Alaska Fast Cash yesterday. He has several stores and just wanted me to pass along one of his favorite things to do is to help pawnbrokers, to be there to give advice. And he said, you can hand my name and number to anybody who wants to ask questions about this. So if you don't want to talk to a sales rep and you want to talk to a real pawnbroker using E44 selling guns, let me know. And Noel is happy to talk to you. All right, Megan, woohoo. We will be sending you a gift card. Okay. All right. So we didn't have trivia for this one, but we like to track our Fortis users. So Tally, Christy, you guys want to talk about this?
Sure. We continue to deepen the APIs with Fortis. Obviously, the biggest things on everybody's radar when it comes to payments is fraud and chargebacks. We've gone really deep into analysis with Fortis on this. You've probably seen a few updates in the last year that have addressed fraud, and it's gone way down just through the system notifying you. We will continue to monitor this. We'll be talking a little bit about AI. This is an area that has huge AI potential that we will continue to invest in, but the number of users is up and we still have 6 months to go. So people are activating Fortis at a super awesome clip, and nobody's churning it. So I know in the very beginning, like I think it was like 3 years ago, we had some people turning on and turning off, but the experience in the last 2 years has been stellar, and we love this partnership. They're really awesome. They come to the booth. They're going to be at our trade shows. So if you want to ask questions, we usually have Corey at our booth, and he's just an awesome resource to talk to and ask questions to. And if you want to talk to anybody that has this in action, sort of like Kathleen said, send us a message and I can put you into touch with people that are using this and then are loving it.
All right, so this is a slide we added. We thought Christy, head of product management, she lives and breathes product, keeps us all informed of the product releases. So we asked Christy, just like the old blockbuster movie stores, what are your picks? Christy, for of all the things that Bravo's put out this year, which we'll talk about, what are the things you think are most exciting?
Yeah, I think the three, I could pick three, so I put a bonus in there. And the bonus is a little secret. I found out at the NPA, a lot of people didn't realize even that we did this update that they were really excited about. But the first one was the suspend transaction or quote. So that's been something that, I've been with Bravo for a very long time, was in the sales manager role. So I've heard it again and again. Oh, suspend transaction would be so great. So it was awesome to be able to take a Facebook post from a customer of ours, and thinking back, like, what would make Bravo even better? And then, customers piling in and agreeing and coming up with different ideas. So we were able to just like very quickly, which doesn't usually happen, but we were able to very quickly execute and get this done. So that kind of was my favorite, because I was able to deliver something very quickly, which normally, it takes a lot of planning and what have you involved. So I think that's why that one's particularly my favorite. And good, Mid-Valley is saying their employees love it and it's awesome. Yay. The next would be the vendor catalog integrations. As many of you know, we also have a lot of customers that are not pawnbrokers, that they are firearm dealers. And if you are a pawnbroker and you're bringing in inventory, you know that it can be very time consuming in describing the items. So part of this vendor catalog is just making it so simple for you guys to bring in new inventory from RSR, Lipsies, or Sports South simply by scanning the UPC code of the item, and just the information fills into Bravo automatically. So you're not picking any drop-down boxes to describe the item. You're just scanning that UPC and telling Bravo how many of that individual unit you brought in. And then of course it's a firearm, you're entering the serial number. Pay at pickup, probably one of the most requested feature enhancements. So that enabled our customers to have their customers pay for a firearm after they passed the background check. So some customers prefer to get that money up front, others prefer to wait. That way, if they do not get a proceed on that initial background check, their customer isn't looking to them to refund that money and then have to wait, multiple days to get it. So now as a business owner, you're able to decide whether or not your customers are going to be paying for the firearm before or after the background check. The last one, the bonus, is it's a double click and ad hoc. So prior to this release, if you were in an ad hoc report and you're looking for information, let's say we've got multiple stores, I'm looking for a lady's Rolex watch, I've created my ad hoc report, I pulled up my items, I got multiple items to look at. When you double click on any item now in a ad hoc report, it actually queues it up into the transaction screen. So if you now double click in your inventory ad hoc, it queues up that item for sale, for layaway, for whatever you want to do with it. It preps it up for something to do. And then if you decide you don't want to click on the item, you hit back and it actually takes you back to that ad hoc report, as opposed to having to hit copy, get out of the report, paste it in Smart Search, oh, not what I'm looking for, then going back to ad hoc. So it's saving customers like between 8 and 10 clicks, depending on the type of transaction you're doing. So be sure to get in and check it out. It seems like a small, but it's a big.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off of that. If you can answer in the chat whether you knew about this, because it was like an NPA blowing people's minds. But also, this is just part of a larger initiative to make Bravo more elegant and intuitive and user-friendly, not just for you, but as you onboard new employees and they're learning a new system. We know that training on a new system is a cost for you. And so we're really trying to be mindful of that and make it so that you could sit somebody in front of Bravo and they can figure it out. The transitions between screens, because of the way Bravo was built, is complicated. So making a change like this that seems simple is really tying parts of our architecture together that haven't been tied together. Another example of this would be to place something on hold, an item on hold from a transaction screen. And so that's also something that we're working on and is on roadmap. So anywhere right now where you're in somewhere and you've got to click out and then you've got to come back in, those are all the types of movements through Bravo that we're trying to reduce or eliminate. And we're trying to fit a few of those in every release, or one each release. So again, these seem minor in the release notes, but these are some of the biggest, I think, enhancements that we're making to Bravo, not just because it really impacts your experience, but as you onboard new employees, you won't, you don't have to say copy, paste, go here, go there. they'll just be able to intuitively double click, because that double clicking is actually pretty intuitive. So keep your eye out for these things. These are coming there. We've got a lot coming down the pike. So it's a bonus, but it probably is like the top could be most used if everybody knows to use it. So double click from ad hoc takes you right to transactions.
All right. And then thank you, Christy, for your picks. It's always interesting. Christy and I talk a lot about product together because she sees and knows everything that's happening, and we're trying to communicate that in an effective way to you guys. So it's always interesting to me to see which ones, I don't know, get you excited, Christy. There's a lot of stuff. You live and breathe product. Speaking of which, talk to us about the customer suggestion form.
Yeah, so if you are somebody who's participated in our customer suggestion form prior to October, you probably saw how full and bloated it was. There was just so much going on to the point where it was overwhelming. It didn't feel like it was a very useful tool. We had people, customers expressing that they didn't feel like it was being seen or heard or responded to. And so in October, I got in and started cleaning up. So when I hit the suggestions or the customer suggestion form back then, there was about 1,700 suggestions sitting in here. And as of today, there's 300. So I didn't delete them. I didn't get rid of them. Hundreds and hundreds of them were duplicates. So those were all noted, and everybody's votes were definitely counted, and they are properly archived. So all of the duplicates deleted, got rid of all of the requests that we had completed, if they've been completed in the past 6 months. That way, if anybody goes back to look, they can see it had been completed. And then anything that was over 2 years old that didn't have at least 5 votes, we also archive. So again, you can always go back into that suggestion form and make the suggestion again. Maybe it was 7 years old and nobody ever went back that far to vote for the idea anyway. But all of them are captured. Nothing is ever getting rid of. I read every single one of them. I try to respond to every single one of them. We look at votes. We wish we could do each and every one of the suggestions. But the point is that we read them, we talk about them, we bring them to meetings, we discuss what the impact of each suggestion would be, how many of our customers would be positively affected, what the associated time and cost, requirements for implementation. So these ideas, they don't just sit in this forum. And then also, I just wanted to mention that there was a lot of chat, our Facebook customers who are going on there making suggestions. For the longest time, you're like, go on the forum and make the suggestions so people can vote. I do compile that information you are putting on Facebook, just so you know, it isn't in this suggestion forum, but it is that data is captured and compiled with this as well. So your votes on there also do matter. But just know that this is the place where you do kind of want to come and make those suggestions. That way it has the benefit of all the Bravo customers and not just, the couple hundred that are on Facebook. So, and that's it.
Piggyback one more time. Another thing that Christy and I have been floating is doing a customer facing sort of customer suggestion meeting. So this would be, we'd invite customers to join our internal meeting so that you can see the process of going through customer suggestions. We have these meetings monthly. We also have dev alignment weekly. We have escalations weekly. We have a million different dev calls trying to make sure that we're prioritizing things properly. But I think customer suggestions would be really awesome to have our customers in that meeting and able to see how those run, how we determine how to roadmap something, where it goes in roadmap, what kinds of things we're looking at and talking about, because we literally go through every single one. And for those of you that take the time to make suggestions, which we greatly appreciate, it does comprise of 80% of our roadmap is your suggestions. I think that would be sort of an awesome thing for you to be able to see in action. Like, where do your suggestions go? How do we hear them? How do we filter them? How are we talking about them? So keep your eye out on that. We're going to do that before the end of the year, but it's not scheduled yet.
All right, so let's transition into some areas of expansion and investment. So these are things that have already happened or areas that we are going to continue to expand and invest. Tally, did you want to start by talking about Bravo's team and the
Yeah.
experience of people.
Yeah. So, this has been a really awesome year of growth for us, specifically in product and development. So we promoted Christy to a head of product role, which we had never had anybody in product. And we quickly realized that this position is, and this department is like just paramount. Like the product is the product. And we believe that we have the best product and we want to remain so that we have the best product. And so allocating a lot of resources to product. Now, product is only good if you can develop the product. And so that means that we need more developers. And it's not just developers that we've been hiring. So we've hired more developers. We've doubled the number of our mobile pawn or mobile e-com developers. But with that comes new business analysts, new UX designers. Like Christy mentioned, we added another product manager for mobile pawn specifically, more QA, right? So like if you hire one, you hire basically 5 for every type of hire that you're making in product and development. So tons of resources being put there. Obviously, I was at NPA last week. One of the things that I was talking about was AI. We hired one of the best database analysts who's very well-versed in machine learning and has been doing this for a really long time. So this is an area of acceleration for us. And I'm so excited to share more as we go down that road. But that is a huge area of focus for us through Q4 and obviously in 2024. We also recruited a new head of onboarding. So if you've been around Bravo since the very beginning, Cynthia Ramirez, that name will ring a bell. She's the one that taught me everything that I knew. She took leave from Bravo and now she's back. She's actually heads up our operations, but part of that is onboarding. Cynthia's onboarded our biggest customers from 100 stores, and now she's managing the whole chain. So really, really lucky to have her. I think that's, I don't want to read through this, but another area of expansion is customer success management. So we've hired Stephanie. She not only is telling you about new product, but she's also able to put you in touch with training for new product. She's not just making sure that you have product, but that you're utilizing the product that you have. So if you have something like Shopkeeper or Mobile Pawn or eBay, and you want to figure out how to maximize your utilization, she can help you do that. We want to make sure that we're collecting the feedback if you're having any issues with the way that product's working, if you're unable to use it properly, all of that's getting funneled through customer success. So we're really excited to have that resource as well. Am I missing anything? I think.
No, I think that,
Okay.
Yeah.
I could talk forever about this. This is like the most exciting thing I think that we've embarked on in the last several years, is being able to really expand our team, onboard them. And this, of course, means an acceleration of product. So creating our sprints faster so that you're getting product much faster so that we can deliver value faster. We know that the retail and pawn landscape is changing quickly. And so our team now, which we have more than, I think, 22 in our development team department, we want to be able to deliver what you need in a quick way. And so our team is almost 75 now, and that's so exciting. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to do this.
Yeah, and just a couple of days, marketing's launching employee spotlight videos, and we'll be publishing those like in our Facebook group and publicly. And these are really fun. We want you guys to get to know the people behind Bravo. We're not a bunch of suits in a boardroom or a bunch of people, just typing zeros and ones in a computer. And we want you to get to know us, and we want to interact with you in a new way. So keep an eye out for those, because they're really fun, cool videos that actually talk about the person, not just their job at Bravo. So.
So I can talk a little bit about this if you're not all tired of hearing my voice, but obviously making sure as we grow, Bravo's stability and security is the first most important thing. We think stability, security, compliance, that's like, if we're not doing that, then we might as well not exist. So we've really been bringing our systems there's a maintenance factor, just like there is with anything of building new versus maintaining and upgrading old. And obviously technology is shifting hugely right now. And so not only do we need to build new product, but we need to not just maintain, but upgrade systems. So this means adding more servers. This is super technical, but the way that our mobile apps are written also have to be upgraded. So rewriting our mobile apps, installing attack prevention. So denial of service attack prevention for mobile apps and for e-com. There were some latency issues with some approvals and ability to make payments, some latency like slowness issues. So we could increase that capacity. Obviously, the name of the game is staying on top of this and predicting for the future, not just trying to set up for what we need today. And that is additional resources that we've hired in our technology team. So to make sure that we're not just maintaining, but that we're keeping up with the speed of technology's advancements, which like is hugely increased. And there's just a huge catalyst for that right now. So that's what we're working on for that. And then also our support team is upgrading their system. So we're doing a Zendesk upgrade. That doesn't affect you. That just affects our ability to service you and what our team is able to see. We're upgrading our phone system so that you don't have to give us all of the information every time you call. You'll be able to call and we'll know what your 6-digit and your 3-digit and all of that information is. And then also an AI integration so that if you don't need like technical support necessarily and you want troubleshooting or training, we're going to have an AI integration so that you can ask our bot a question and we can get you all trained and things like that. So that's what we have going.
I love the note. Developers and execs are cool, but give the tech guys a spotlight too. Hey, calling in for any issues with Bravo's Tech is always a pleasure to talk to you and always super helpful. And that's from Mid-Valley.
I just want to brag really quick on our customer support team because we put out a release, and anytime you put out a release, like there's always issues. Like our goal in that is how quickly can we solve them for the most people, and then we triage, and there's this whole thing that happens in the background. But we have like an 85-day, and nobody go in and ruin this for us. We have an 85-day perfect CSAT score, which means that we haven't gotten anything less than 5 stars for our support team in the last 80+ days. So they are amazing. They are wonderful. We're onboarding new people because we have to expand the team, which is awesome. But even the new people are getting 5 stars, which is, onboarding and training people and getting them right out of the gate to be stellar is difficult. And so thank you. I'm assuming that Zach for your feedback on that. We really appreciate it. And I will post this in our announcements channel right after.
Yeah, I think on all of our reviews on third-party sites, in our testimonial videos and things we get, people talk about our support as much as our tech. And it's huge because sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, people, that's one of the questions we get. What happens if there's a problem? Is there actually a person I can speak to? So getting those comments, just so you guys know, we pass these on anytime that's like posted in Facebook. We put it in our weekly town halls because our support team is fantastic. So keep that feedback coming. We like to encourage them and let them know they're doing a great job. All right. So let's talk, maybe besides trivia, this is really what everybody was waiting for, is what the heck is going on with roadmap. So I'm going to have Christy talk about progress and some prioritization or reprioritization. I'll just put up, oh, we have one more trivia question. All right. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize we had this. Let's do trivia and then we'll get to roadmap. All right. Everybody pull up your chats. Oh, okay. The first 3 correct answers win. Name a new feature or functionality that Bravo has released in 2023. All right, so Suzanne gets it. Sorry, Megan, you were just behind Suzanne.
Vito, that's super helpful info. Like the answering service is there so that you don't go to voicemail. We know that it is nails on a chalkboard, and sometimes it's better and sometimes it's worse, but this switch to the new phone system is hopefully eliminating the live answer service. So we believe, we'll see if the hypothesis rings true, but in the next 3 months, we won't need the live answering service anymore. So we hear your feedback. I get lots of texts about that. I am appreciative of you guys being honest about that. So we are working on it.
All right. So we have, Christy, people I think really were listening to you in your pick 3, because we have the E44 pay at pickup, the vendor imports through the catalogs, and suspend transactions. So I had Suzanne, Brandon, and Brad were the first to give us 3 distinct ones. But this is just a reminder, this was the roadmap for those of you who attended in January. This was the roadmap that we put up in January saying, here's what Bravo's going to do in 2023, or at least here's what's slated. Christy, I'll have you touch on these, but just real quick, anything highlighted in blue is already completed. So we've done that this year. Anything highlighted in green are new items that were added to the roadmap that we hadn't initially talked about or planned for in January. And then yellow are things that are still on our roadmap, but we are reprioritizing them to 2024. So anything you want to call out in particular on here, Christy?
Yeah, I guess I would say, I think Talia touched on a little bit on the last slide. We had talked a little bit, and I don't see it on here, but I know I've personally been talking with a lot of customers about some of the additions that we have planned, specifically like shopkeeper, adding more information. Talia had mentioned we have to, there was an update. So we actually have to rewrite all of those apps into the newest platform. So that's still on roadmap. That is still planned to deliver more information about like your customer when they're chatting up with you, like, hey, can I get more time on my loan? Like, we understand there's not a lot of information there. So that is still on roadmap, but it might be held off because we do have to rewrite everything into the newest technology. So that's just something I wanted to quickly mention. Yes, optional packing slips is really coming. I promise, it's not moving off the roadmap. It is still there. So that is definitely being done. We did have to move, like Kathleen said, a couple times. We just did a little reprioritization. So those things are still happening, but we didn't want to make some room. We had a lot of customer feedback on some of these items that are showing up in green. One is the ability for Bravo to auto email your 3310s. So that's something that we are currently working on for the next release. So that's just going to automatically happen as soon as the transaction is complete. We also, I saw Suzanne had thrown in something about buy now and pay later. So yes, we did add PayPal's buy now, pay later, but we will also be releasing another product that is a buy now, pay later, and we'll have a bunch of information shooting your way for that. But the name of that company is called Credova, and we're super excited because they'll be able to offer your customers an in-store and online buy now, pay later experience. So we're very excited about that. And then the paginate reports. It sounds super techie and geeky, but you guys, this is super exciting. The #1 complaint that I hear is like, oh, I try to pull this report and then I'm limited to, 1,000 or 5,000 results. Well, what paginate reports will do is allow you to hit that next number, so that you can get your full report and then print and export it into any of the 10 file formats that you choose. So you won't have to break up these reports and try to figure out, oh shucks, how can I get it under 5,000 in 2 or 3 different reports? So that is some of the reprioritization and new items that come onto roadmap.
And
I think, was there a question?
I think I've been live answering those. So Christy, maybe you can make a note to follow up with Suzanne about the 3310s and the way that it's calculating. But these are all like mediums and larges. And when you come to our customer suggestions meeting, you'll hear us talk in this like language, extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. And this is how we basically decide how many of each size we can fit into each release. So these are all mediums or larges. And so in the next slide, you'll see lots of other things that slide in here. So the smalls are things that we don't necessarily put on roadmap, because if we put every small on roadmap, it'd be like hundreds of things long in a year. I'll let Christy go through that, but that's the way that we think about new product and features that we're coming out with and how many get slated per release.
Yeah, so these are some of the more major, like Tally just said, some of the more major things that we've done. Do you want me to read through them?
No, I just like to show these because, again, the big roadmap we're showing is like the big things, as Tally said, right? Mediums and larges, not necessarily, all the things in release notes. I am curious, as people look at this slide, if you take a look at this, are there things on here that are new to you that you didn't know that we did? And I would ask if there's anything in chat, or if you want to put in chat any suggestions for how we can communicate releases better. Christy does an awesome job of putting videos together, marketing, sending those out in our weekly newsletters. We promote them on social. If the release is large enough, we'll typically do webinars. But if there's any other suggestions or things that you think are working well in terms of communicating releases, so you can stay on top of it, let us know. We know that there's a lot of features, a lot of functionality. So if there's a way that we can keep you up to date better, my marketing team and I are all ears.
I want to highlight maybe a few. The move to delete report button. This was like a headache for people. They would accidentally click that little X when you're building an ad hoc of a saved report. And then that saved report would disappear. And then you'd have to recreate the saved report. So we actually moved and like changed the way that you delete a report so that it's not like so easy and you lose a report. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen that one yet, but that again was like a clicks and a frustration and a headache. We had to redesign the way that that looked. But I think so far the feedback on that has been awesome. And if you haven't noticed it, it's when you're in ad hoc and a saved report, you're not able to delete the saved report by just clicking that little red X that happens so fast and then you lose it. So that was a big one. And then the shaft blockers, I just wanted to touch on too. You probably know this is not our provider telling us what's being blocked. This is by carriers. And there's really there's not a ton of flexibility. I will just say that Mike, who heads up our technology, and Christy, we jumped on a call with them and explained like what our text messages are being used for, what pawn shops are actually using them for, because as you can imagine, it got confusing for them as to like why, whether pawn type things should be blocked. And so we actually got this to be unblocked. So there was a lot of like chatter on Facebook, like, can I use pawn? Can I not use pawn? We actually got that like approved language done. But in the background, we're blocking other types of words that are going to be blocked from carriers. So that's all in place. That really helps you, obviously, so that your number won't get blocked. But ultimately, if we have so many blocked numbers, we also get in trouble. So this is like we're working in tandem with you to make sure that you're being compliant with Shaft. And that way we stay in good standing with Twilio so that we can continue to use their service. So that was another one. We've got a handful of Kappa people, and I know Kappa digital ticket availability is on here. This is like the number one thing that I'm spending my day working on. So there's a bunch of Kappa tickets. We support a bunch of Kappa tickets. The next ticket that we're digitizing, let me just look at my notes. I think it's the Kappa 409. So that's the MLA version of the Kappa. If you're on a CMP ticket right now, we're going to be moving you over. There's no difference between that ticket and the Kappa ticket. So if you're a Kappa member, we'll be moving you over to that ticket. All of this is coming in the next few weeks. We had to do a lot of like background digging and ticket comparisons. But this is on its way to you. So that's the first Kappa ticket. It'll include some type of MLA check, like, if they check the box, they're active, they'll have to come into the store and things like that. So we're addressing all of that. Thank you. Like our Kappa customers are so awesome. And thanks for your patience. This has just been like a lot of nitty gritty in the background, but we're almost through it. And on my list to talk to Kathleen about is a comms plan of how to get this to you. So you should be seeing it very soon. I love these. They give me so much energy. We know that your time is super valuable. And so thanks for taking time out of your day to spend it with us. Thank you for being engaged, and we're just really grateful for your business. So Kathleen, any final words?
That's it. Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Tally. Thanks for everybody for joining. We'll get the